Okay, I've messed up this video multiple times because I've forgotten it's 2 weeks, not 3 weeks, before we get Crown Jewel. And this is what it really comes down to. I'm going to say it like this. I was going to be all fancy, and I was going to say, yeah, oh yeah, baby. No, I messed up multiple times doing that. And, okay, and I messed that one up too. And I'm going like, God damn, I can't do nothing right. This is what you get sometimes when you do reviews or a podcaster. But as a podcaster, if you do it live, oh, you fuck up, everyone watch. Everybody's going to see every damn thing you do wrong. And you're going to have to either chew their asses out, basically ban them so you don't make yourself feel bad and let them try to chew you out. That's going to make everyone else chew you out. Or you're going to be so embarrassed that you want to just get rid of them so you don't feel bad. And as a reviewer, like myself, making these recordings and then uploading it afterward, you still get it, but it's after the fact. But then if you edit your videos, like sometimes I do, which I'm not here, you look at yourself and you say, oh, I forgot to say something. Oh, do I sound stupid? Or worse, having something in my eye. Unfortunately, I always got allergy problems and always get stuff in my eyes. And I try to remind myself to clean my eyes, and sometimes I don't. This is what you get. You forget something. You find that you don't look right or you don't sound right, and you're going, this is what you get when you deal with me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm an open book. I don't lie. I'm not like JD and Alex. They are professionals. I am not. They don't want to put themselves out there. I do. Let's make this clear. What do we get in this show? Clearly, actually better than last week's NXT, last week's SmackDown, and this week's Raw. You know why? No shock value. Now, what do I mean by that? Shock value last week for NXT. You had John Cena, you had The Taker, and then you had everyone else under the sun. Then the premiere of SmackDown. We got shock value there, but no substance like NXT. There's no leading anywhere. Then we had this Raw. Same thing. Shock value that doesn't lead anywhere. And I've heard just Alex, and I saw his video. He said we're doing long-term booking. It's going to take a while. For me personally, I don't see that. I don't. For the simple reason, long-term booking does not take away from bad booking. Bad booking can still be part of long-term booking. And since nothing has been built for Crown Jewel, because they could have done that on NXT, they could have done this for SmackDown heavily, they could have done this for Raw heavily, because they're barely even promoting a Survivor Series, even mentioned it a couple of times, nothing really heavily for NXT or SmackDown or Raw on Crown Jewel, very little. So you got 2 Raws, 2 SmackDowns before Crown Jewel, and so little build that if anything's there, it's going to be so half-assed. The only thing that's going to matter is the matches themselves, which I'm not going to tell you is bad. But here, when you look at NXT, it wasn't that bad. Yes, you can see something easily interjected from the main roster, whether it's, as I've said multiple times, I don't care if it's Ari Emanuel, who is the CEO of TKO Group Holdings. And you could say Vince, you can say Triple H, you can say not Paul Heyman, or even Bruce Pritchard, the most distant, but he should still be there. That is on the main roster, whether you like it or not. Here, at least it's minimal to a certain extent. You get more of the talent of this brand, not the main roster talent. That's what the major problem is, and I'll explain it later. Let's go to not the opening of the show, but the first match, which is part of the breakout star for the women. And we got, who is there? We had, should I do that one first? Or should I do the bada bing, bada boom, battle royal? Because that started it. Actually, no, let's do the women first, because we got more women in this show than we normally do. Let's do the first round. Now, we had Jada Parker versus Carmen Petra. Now, I think I might have saw her once before. I don't remember. I don't. There's something about her I think I saw once before. But she won the match. So they think there might be something more than Jada Parker. Now, if you're going to really be honest about the match itself, it was not good. It was sloppy. I believe it was Petra who was a bit sloppy, but Parker was worse. I'm telling you right now, I knew that Parker wasn't going to win, but I was hoping she would do a good showing because not only does she have the beauty, she is athletic. She sounded well, more better than Carmen what is her name? Petra. I believe that's her name. You guys can tell me if I'm botching. I know I am. It's the first time I've seen her, or the second. I don't remember. I'm bad with names. But when you see her, you hear her. Parker sounds really good. She has the right look. She's beautiful. She's very athletic. But she's sloppy. Very sloppy. It was almost that she could almost have put Petra on the top and crown of her head at one point. And I was going, oh my gosh. I think she almost did put it nearly on the crown of her head. At one move where she was supposed to just throwaway slam almost. Of course, Petra won. But I hope we don't see her too soon until she gets more training. Next one. We get, and this is the women because we got 3 matches. 3. We got Nox versus Valkyria. Now, this is where it gets interesting. There is no breakout star here because both of them are established. We got Natalya coming to NXT. A Raw star again. Yes. And I'm not happy about this. So many people from the roster have been coming down there. And what I mean by minimum, because I said it earlier, that the main roster was down to a minimum, even though we saw a lot of them, it was not about them. It was about the talent that's on NXT itself. The trainees about to go to the main roster eventually. That's what that was supposed to be the focus about. Because seeing Tegan Nox on NXT makes no sense. She should not be there. She shouldn't. She's not a free agent, as I've said multiple times. Where is the brand split again? And I'm sure just Alex is going to talk about it. And JD, I'm going to keep saying it until they say, ladies and gentlemen, the brand split is over. Until they say it, I'm going to keep saying it, even if it's annoying everybody who's watching me. Because that is what we were presented, no matter if Vince was there or not. But even with them there, it goes along with the story on Raw. Because Tegan and Natalya are working together. And it looks like the tag champions because they came out. We saw Chelsea. We saw Piper. They came to mess with pretty much Natalya and more Tegan. And when the match was over, due to the fact of, well, let's make it face-itis. Because a face, once they see someone at ringside, always seems to lose their mind and go. And then they get their asses whooped. That's how it goes. Whether this is Triple H's booking, Vince's booking, or Shawn Michaels' booking, that is what happened. It would have been better if they just grabbed at her, but she just stood there looking at them for a minute, got distracted, then Valkyria whooped her ass. Fine. What was the best part of the entire thing, taking away from the fight, because that's leading back to Raw, because they didn't stick out there long. Lyra, let's make this clear. I will say she did the right thing. When the fight was happening between all 4 of those women, Lyra started her promo. She did not wait until they came out. She wanted to make it clear, this is about me. And that was the wisest thing to do. They didn't wait until they were gone. They let her start talking immediately because it's not about them. This shouldn't be about the main roster. This should be about the talent that's on NXT who needs to learn and get over with the fans so when they move to the main roster, which they've been trying to tout so much because of Becky on the main roster with the damn title, there you go. She makes it clear. As much as she cares about Becky, she wants this match to prove how great she is. She wanted to be the first Irish-born NXT champion. But Becky beat her. She is going to do everything she can. And then Becky comes on the screen. Makes it clear. She's proud of her. She said when she first got recordings of her from her own trainer, not Becky's trainer, but I believe Valkyria's trainer, well, actually previously Becky's trainer, and then Valkyria's trainer. He said, look at this woman, because she's going to be something. And Becky said she did become something, and she's proud of her, but she needs to understand when Halloween Havoc comes, this is not about I'm your hero or I'm your idol. You're going to have to hate me, because there's no other way you're going to win this damn title from me. Because if you're not doing that, you're not going to win. She literally lays it straight in her face. No matter how much you love me, how much you admire me, you're my competitor. If you do not do this, you're going to get your ass whooped. Period. And she won. And that's what this is coming around, because the way I said she won is when the show was over next to Jade Cargill, which I'll talk about in a minute, after the second match, and then the third match of the women, because we had 4 matches. There was a lot of matches for the women, because they're trying to set up the breakout star and set up the storylines here. Pretty much when the show was over, and on her locker she had a picture of her and Becky, she said, okay, tore it up, she won. Because in that situation, even if she loses to Becky, she was willing to destroy something that she held dear because of how much she cared about Becky and admired her. That was the wisest thing to do, so I'm glad. Here's a match that makes no damn sense. Shotzi versus Kiana James. Now, we did get a little bit of Roxanne coming out helping a Shotzi due to the fact that she took the brick out of Kiana's bag. She took a big ass brown brick out. And that's how she mainly lost, due to the fact she couldn't use a purse to knock out a Shotzi. Let me give it to you like this. If you were happy to see that Shotzi won, more power to you. If you're happy to see the segment after that, when they did the spinning of the wheel, and I think it was a hell something. I can't remember the name of what it was. I didn't get a chance to write it down. I had to go to the bathroom. Right when she was spinning the wheel, I had to go and take a piss. So when I came back, it was over. I don't know what it ran. I think it was hell something. You guys can tell me below. But when it comes down to it, seeing that, fine. But I'm going to tell you this. What do we really get with Shotzi? What do we get that? Mind you, I'm not against Shotzi Blackheart. I'm not. She can talk to a certain extent. She has an interesting look. Let's make this clear. Is she a good-looking woman? Hell yeah. She's a curvy-ass woman. She also can talk decently well. She has a distinct look. And she goes all right in the ring. But let's make this clear. What has she done? As it stands right now, Shotzi has not really done anything on the main roster other than when she was working with Bayley, which they stopped. Let's be honest. The reason Shotzi cut her hair was for her sister. And they've done nothing with it. Everyone said, oh, this is interesting. She cut her hair. She did it for her sister. Now they're going to do something with Bayley. They've done nothing with Bayley. They never did a blowout of a PLE. They never did a blowout of it and never made it mean something. So Shotzi's done nothing. As beautiful as she is physically, as well she can talk. She rides around in a damn tank, which is interesting. People like. She's done nothing. So doesn't it help Kiana? It doesn't. Now, this match with Roxanne Perez is going to be a Halloween Havoc. Might be something. It might be something. But I'm not going to tell you it's a lot. Now, knowing that they spun the wheel earlier for Gigi when it was a, what was it? What was the match? Hang on a minute. I'm trying to find it. Frazier about Dom. I'll get to that in a minute. Where is it? No. It was, oh man, I might not wrote it down. But, also Gigi spun the wheel, and she's going to be dealing with Davenport. I didn't write it down. I thought I did. But it's good to see they're still continuing the story with Gigi Dolan, and also a Blair Davenport. But the question's going to be, will they have a blow-off that will benefit them both? Because one of them should be gone. One of them should go to the main roster at this point. After this blow-off, because we had Gigi for a while, we had Davenport for a while. If there's no real good payoff, they need to do a blow-off that will benefit the benefit the other going to the main roster if they go there, which I think they should. Now, next match, which is the second of the first round for the breakout tournament. Grace versus Reese, I believe. Blair, Reese, I believe. This was the second one. Now, when I looked at both of them, what did I see, honestly? I saw a copy of, sorry to say, Charlotte and a Reese, and then I saw something possibly different when it came to Grace. Grace was a better wrestler than Reese. And I'm going like, okay, are they going to let Blair Reese win? I believe that Blarian Reese win. If they do, that's not a good thing. Because I think Grace is better. I think Grace might be something. And they let her win. And she's moving forward. Now, understand that Reese was a replacement because Jackson of Metaphor, I always forget her name, she got injured. She cannot wrestle. So she was taken out automatically. Which was a good thing. They didn't let Grace just win the match. They had to do something. But here's a big question. What are they going to be doing with these women? Will it really mean something by near the end? I don't know. Now, let me give you like this for Von Wagner, because they did show him injured still, head covered up in something, and he's able to talk normally, which he shouldn't. Let's make it clear. A brain injury like that, he should be a little more. If you're going to be that far, he should be in a bed. I think that's what should have happened. This is me. What they should have did with Von Wagner, they should have first showed him in a bed, stuttering a little bit. And they tell Stone that he's stuttering at this moment because of the injury. Don't worry, he'll be fine. The stuttering will stop. That would have gave Von Wagner more sympathy. Then showing him at the physical therapy, which they did in this segment, trying to get himself back into shape because he lost all the ability to walk and move properly. That was fine. Showing that Stone was by his side. And Stone was willing to take a bullet for Von Wagner. And Von said, you did what you did. You could have been hurt. That's Von telling pretty much Stone, you shouldn't have done that. You could have gotten hurt. And he says, after what you done, no, I'm willing to take a bullet for you. And he said, I'm willing to start it, and I know you'll finish it. And Von was feeling so defeated because he couldn't even do this. But once Stone talked to him, he said, give me that damn elastic. And then he started trying and then stretching, and then he's trying to get back into shape. I will say that if they're doing this, they are investing something in him, whether you like him or not. I do believe as a face, he'll get over to a certain extent, but it's going to count on how far has he learned to take that, because just doing these segments is not enough. He's got to talk to someone, maybe Taker, maybe Shawn Michaels a little bit more, maybe Cena. Hopefully he's been talking to them in the back to get a little bit more of how to be able to get more sympathy out of this storyline and more to get his character to be developed. Because if he stays as he is, he's going to be in trouble. It'll only last for a certain amount, and people get bored of him. He's got to develop himself more. Next, let's see here. Let's go to Brian Pillman Jr., who is now called, what is he being called? Lexis King. I believe he's called Lexis King. I think. I could be pronouncing it wrong. I'm not sure. But I believe it's called Lexis King. And he finally showed himself. I mean, I know there'd been several vignettes beforehand, and many people have said something. I left it blank because I wanted to see how far they were going to go with a Brian Pillman Jr. And he made it very clear. He's spoken to people. They showed Stone Cold Steve Austin. They showed, I don't even need to say how many people they showed on screen when he was talking. But he made it clear when he spoke to all these people and they were talking about his dad, he had to look them dead in the face and lie and said, I know, I feel it. Because he didn't know his father. He was 4 years old. So he didn't know nothing of his father before he passed. and he doesn't care about his father. He's going to make his own legacy. Now he's Lexus King. I believe that's his name. I can't really say yes or no to this. It depends on, well, next to the beard he's got here. No mustache, but I think it was a beard he has all along here. I don't grow beards and mustache very well and very long. This is like this because if I do it early, next to nicking myself, it grows back quick. So I gotta let it grow out a little bit. But, taking away from me, I'm gonna leave it until they start showing him. Just that they finally did show him, I had to say something. But I'm not going to say anything generally, other than maybe he does another vignette and they show his face. If they're going to do something substantial, I'm leaving it at that. Let's see here. What else? Okay, let's go to the first segment of the show. Well, I know I could say something about Frazier and Dom. Let me say this. Frazier and Dom wasn't built very well, but Frazier and Dom hopefully will mean something. I'm saying that. Let's go to the first segment of the show. Melo. And, well, let me give it to like this. Corbin and Melo and Dijak out there. We literally get this moment together. And I will tell you this. Seeing this before their match was okay. Then finding out when Dragunov came on screen, because this was about when Melo was trying to say he was going to win and go back and get his title. Dijak is making it very clear that he will beat both their asses. And pretty much Corbin, who is actually the funniest one there, he says, what do you think you're doing? What are you wearing these? Are you wearing those damn glasses? And he was not very funny, but he was funny. I think this was one of the rare times that you see Baron Corbin just having fun. I think that was one of the rare times that, and he's always very stiff in his promos, where he always pauses and it doesn't always translate well. He's a good heel, but sometimes his promos suck because he pauses like he's trying to remember his lines. Here it flowed very well because it was like he was having fun, at least a little bit. But when Dragunov came out and said that Cody made one more match, he made it now a fatal four-way and Trick Williams comes out. This is when it went like this in my head. It started. Melo and Trick, their eventual face-off, this is where it starts. And he comes out, and it's both Dijak and literally Baron Corbin that's pretty much saying to him, you know your boy just threw you on the bus. He's now interjecting himself in this match, and he didn't even bother to tell you. But then he's saying, don't try and trick me. Don't try and trick me. You cannot interfere with this. And then the fight happens. Melo, for one moment, once they got everyone out of the ring, he's going like this. He's getting ready like, am I going to try and do something to my boy? No, I can't. He pats him on the back. Then we get the setup for the four-way. But then, Trick gets his ass handed to him by somebody. And it's Melo who comes out first. And doesn't know who did it. He's upset. And Trick doesn't act like he knows. He doesn't know who nailed him from the back and beat the shit out of him. So now he's removed because he had to be sent to a hospital. And now it was a three-way again. And I knew it had to be Melo. If this was going to go down the road that I believed it was going down to, it could not be Dijak against Dragunov again. It could not be Baron Corbin again. It had to be Melo. And Melo won clean. They let him get the clean win. And now, Melo's going to Halloween Havoc as the number one contender. But here's the thing for me, ladies and gentlemen. Now this is the road for Melo and Trick to finally do face-to-face. It's not the point now if Melo wins the title or not. It would be the right thing to do for Melo to win the title, and then Trick would try and take it from him. Because eventually, one of them has to turn on the other. Either Trick is going to turn on Melo or Melo's going to turn on Trick. It has to happen. They can't be friends in this. It's not going to be that way. One of them has to turn. Because if I'm right, this is a final sign that Melo is heading to the main roster. If they're going to let Trick have this moment with him trying to get his title if he wins against Dragunov. Now, mind you, he can still lose and they can still do this, but it will not be as important. But I'm still believing that there's a good chance Trick will face Melo for the World Championship. Do I believe Trick has earned it? At this point, yeah. Whoop, that Trick has gotten totally over. People like Trick Williams now. I said it myself so many months ago, if you guys remember, that Trick Williams has reached the point that he needs to separate from Melo and be his own man. He's got to do it. I don't know about anyone else. I think many people said they didn't like Trick. He was annoying. He just didn't do it. I'm one of the few people that honestly said, this is how Trick is acting. He hasn't been great in the ring, but this is how he's acting. He's gone as far as he can as Melo's partner, his best friend. He's got to break off and become something because Melo needs to move on. And now they've gone there. Do I believe they will go for the title? Like I said, if Trick wins that title, hopefully they will build it correctly into a PLE. Because Halloween Havoc is just theme shows. But it's just me. Peace.